Thus began the champion's first year in Kirkwall. Word arrived from across the sea that the hero of Ferelden had defeated the Blight. But Lothering was destroyed. Kirkwall was the champion's home now. So she made her name, settling her debts with the mercenaries. It was a busy year in the city. That's when the Qunari landed. A great storm had caught their ship and left hundreds of warriors stranded in the city, waiting to return home. That's also when the trouble began with the mages. The Templars had become very powerful under Knight Commander Meredith. But, most importantly, that's when I first met the champion.
No! Andraste's tits, human. You know how many people want to hire onto this expedition?
But we heard you're going into the deep roads. Surely you'll need all the help you can...
No! You're too late. Already done. This is a sort of venture that can make a man for life. I'm not about to take any chances hiring random humans.
We've fought and killed Darkspawn. How many of your hired men can say the same?
Get in line, human. Half of Kirkwall wants to be my best friend right now. You're looking for a quick way out of the slums, right? You and every other Ferelden in this dump. Find another meal ticket.
What are we supposed to do now? We've got nothing to stop the next person who tries to sell us out. This expedition was our last chance. We've made a name for ourselves this last year. We'll find something. We have to. We need coin, status, something we can hide behind. As long as we're just refugees, we're no one. Maybe Gamlen knows someone who can talk to Bartram for us. He always seems to know what's going on. We might as well ask. Otherwise, I don't know what we'll do. Hey!
I knew a guy once who could take every coin out of your pockets just by smiling at you. But you don't have the style to work Hightown, let alone the Merchants Guild. You might want to find yourself a new line of work. Off you go. How do you do? Varric Tethras, at your service. I apologize for Bartrand. He wouldn't know an opportunity if it hit him square in the jaw.
But you would.
I would. What my brother doesn't realize is that we need someone like you. He would never admit it either. He's too proud. I, however, am quite practical.
You're part of Bartrand's venture?
That's right. The deep roads wouldn't normally be my thing, but I can't allow the head of our family to go down there alone. So as you might imagine, I have more than a passing interest in this expedition's success.
What makes you so certain we can help? You know nothing about us.
Oh, on the contrary. You've made quite the name for yourself over the last year. Serving with the Red Iron is no mean feat. Yet you not only served, you impressed. The name Hawke is on many lips these days. Not bad for a Ferelden fresh off the boat.
You must have heard of my sister as well, then?
Only a little. She is certainly welcome to come, but I'll leave that up to you.
Frankly, I'd rather you take the credit.
Madam, your secrets are safe with me.
Find out what he's offering. We need a way into this expedition. There must be some way to persuade your brother to hire us on.
We don't need another hireling. We need a partner. The truth is, Bartrand's been tearing his beard out trying to fund this on his own, but he can't do it. Invest in the expedition. 50 sovereigns and he can't refuse. Not with me there to vouch for you.
Your brother doesn't seem like the sort who's willing to split profits.
My brother is many things, but he is not stupid. Far better to share the profits than be trapped in a tide with 1,000 darkspawn between you and the exit. Trust me, he'll come around.
Why would you stick your neck out for a complete stranger?
I'd rather take a chance on someone with your reputation than head into the deep roads unprepared. And besides, we'd be your partners. I'm willing to give a little trust if you are.
It sounds interesting. But if I had any gold, I wouldn't need this job.
You need to think big. There's only a brief window after a blight when the deep roads won't be crawling with darkspawn. The treasure you find down there could set you and your family up for life.
It won't be easy, but it's a chance. I think we have to take it. Better to work our way into this expedition than sit around waiting to be thrown in the gallows.
We work together, you and I, and before you know it, you'll have all the capital you need. What do you say?
There might be nothing down there except darkspawn and rubble. How can you be sure we'll make a profit?
Well, Bartrand isn't grasping at strings. He's operating on some good information. Some of the deep roads are so old, even the dwarves have forgotten them. We just need to get down there. Then Bartrand will lead the way. You and I will be there to handle problems.
What makes you so certain you'll be useful to me?
I know everyone in this city worth knowing. I can help you find the jobs you need, and if you don't need me for that, there's always Bianca.
You named your crossbow.
And why not? She's a beauty. Isn't that right, sweetheart?
What's to stop you from taking my investment and running?
You'll be traveling with the expedition, and I'll be at your side. If I cross you, you'll be the first one to know, and I'll be the last.
You're asking me to take a lot on faith.
You're asking for a guarantee? I don't know that I can give you one. Look, I know the Templars have been asking questions. How terrible would it be to get out of the city for a while? If this works out, you'll be wealthy enough that the Order won't be able to touch you. You need the coin, and I need your help. We need each other. I can't make it sound better than that.
You have a deal.
Perfect. Kirkwall's crawling with work. You set aside some coin from every job and you'll have the money in no time.
Maybe Aveline can find us some work. She's got a position with the city guard now.
We should talk privately when you get the chance. In the Hanged Man, maybe. I'll be there when I'm not with you. Now, let's go see what trouble we can stir up. Ah, Hightown. Where the rich go to piss their money away. This really is the best place in Kirkwall.
Alright, Dragon Age 2 Act 1 getting underway.
You won't find better prices.
We've served our year working for the Red Iron, and now we're trying to join an expedition. We've met Varric, the storyteller from the intro movie, and he's a great companion. He's a rogue, and he uses a bow, so he doesn't usually get in your way and get hit by friendly fire.
I spent way too much time here.
You don't seem to like your brother very much.
And here I thought it took blood magic to read minds.
I had a twin brother, Carver. He used to nail my braid to the bed while I was sleeping. I never thought I'd miss him this much.
Sorry about your brother. Hey, you want mine? I got a spare.
Hawke, long time no see, my friend.
Worthy! When did you get back into town?
Oh, just a month or so ago. Things didn't work out in Orzammar. You still with the Red Iron? It was just a year you were with them, right?
I'm looking to become an explorer of a sort.
I heard. Bartrand's hard to take, but his information is usually good.
Hard to take? That's putting it mildly.
I'll tell you what. I still have my old contacts. You need some rune crafting done, I can arrange it for you. Take care, Hawke. Don't get dead.
Okay, this is the first of 3 crafting stations. This is for runes, and we'll get another one real quick here for potions, and then in a little bit we'll get one for poisons. And I'm going to go over that in the intro, so I'll assume at this point that I don't need to explain it. But once you unlock these stations, they show up in your home base, so they'll be there for you to use later.
Do you ever wish you lived in Orzammar?
Great ancestors, no. You know what Orzammar is? It's cramped tunnels filled with nug shit and body odor. And every person there thinks he's better than you because his great-great-great-grandfather made a water clock or something.
But they're your people. Don't you even wonder what it would be like?
I have a good imagination. Why would I waste it on that?
Ooh. Wonder if they sell shoes.
Okay, that first bit I clicked was just a leaflet on the wall. It doesn't give a quest or anything. It's just there, I think, to kind of add a little flavor, you know, to give you a sense that all these refugees that fled the Blight from Ferelden aren't really too welcome here in Kirkwall.
My. If it isn't Hawke. Good to see you again, Elegant. Lady Elegant, if you don't mind. I'm a married woman now. Last time we met, you were still working for that brutish thug, Mirren. Things have been going well since then? It isn't always easy, but things are going well enough. That's wonderful to hear. You may recall I supplied the Red Iron with potions. I'd be willing to extend you the same courtesy if you like. All I ask is you inform me of any interesting reagents you find. In exchange, I'll approach my contacts on your behalf. And of course you'll need the appropriate recipes, such as this one. Free, for old time's sake.
And here we go, the potion station. They all work the same. So before pressing on, we're going to hit one more vendor. And that first vendor that we used, notice I bought an upgrade for Varric. I was talking about the leaflets. I don't know if you noticed, but you'll notice it here. There's an upgrade on the armor stand for Aveline. And, you know, the companions each have 4 armor slots. There it is. That's the one for Aveline. And sometimes they give a rune slot. Sometimes they just give flat bonus. I think that was bonus to attack for Aveline.
Good dice.
And if you don't get them while they're available, and then you move on into the game, like into, say, Act 2 or something, then they're gone forever. So it's pretty important you get these things when they're available. Even though right now we're really hard pressed for gold, and you don't want to spend it on those, but you kind of have to.
Are you really not afraid of apostates? Not even a little?
Sunshine, I'm a dwarf. In case you missed that detail.
Dwarves aren't completely immune to magic, you know.
No. I meant there are at least 30 people in this town who'd murder my family over trade deals. Who has time to worry about apostates with a merchant's guild breathing down your neck?
In that case, I see.
So, here's the thing. We need to find a way into the deep roads. Bartrand can lead us to the right place once we're down there, but we need a good entrance.
Any entrance would do, wouldn't it? Well, unless a dragon's sitting in it, I suppose.
We need an entrance that's close to our destination, but isn't already plundered or filled with darkspawn. Fortunately, I've received some new information. There's a Grey Warden in the city. If anyone knows how to get down there, it'll be him.
Why would a Grey Warden know that?
The Wardens don't just fight darkspawn. They forge into the deep roads all the time. And if he doesn't know, he might be able to point us to those who do.
Are there any other options?
None at the moment. Bartrand had an entrance lined up, but it was a bust. I'll keep looking,
But if we don't find something, we'll have a fancy expedition with nowhere to go.
Sounds like you have it all planned out, Varric.
And that, Messer, is why I'm here. Supposedly, this Grey Warden came in with some other Ferelden refugees not long ago. A Lowtown woman named Lorene has been helping the Fereldans. We talked to her. Maybe we learn where he is. I'll keep after my contacts, see if I can drum up any other work.
Okay, advancing the Deep Roads Expedition quest line slightly there. And we're in the Hanged Man, which is obviously an inn, and that's sort of like conference room suite. That's where Varric hangs out. All your companions have kind of like a home base, and if they're not with you, that's where you'll find them in case they want to talk about something. In a case like this, even though Varric's in the party, we need to actually come to the Hanged Man to talk to him, because that's where the cutscenes are filmed and whatnot. And there's another companion we haven't met yet who will use the Hanged Man as her base. And we'll be here quite a bit throughout the game. It's a pretty important, you know, location.
Your family used to be noble, right?
By some definition of the term.
Do you ever wonder what your life would have been like if you were still nobles?
Sunshine, nobility is just an expensive lifestyle. I've already got one of those.
Nobles have power, too. And responsibilities.
Estates, servants, investments, mercenaries, assassins. We've still got all those things. It's sunnier here, and nobody calls me my lord. I think I can live with that.
Will everyone please just step back? My mother's in labor. The baby's come early. Can anyone help her? I'll send word to the healer, but...
My son's hurt bad. Cart overturned on him in the blasted bone pit.
Everyone in your turn.
If you're seeking aid, leave your name with my girl. We serve everyone here. No one came from Ferelden without trouble. But I can't give priority to anyone who's already found work and lodging.
Is there a way I can assist these people?
If you've coin to spare, we won't turn it down. Donations go in the box up front. Anything else?
I hear you know where I can find a Ferelden Grey Warden.
Only Ferelden Grey Warden I've heard of is sitting on the throne. We're out of the Blight's path now. Why would you need a warden?
The healer was one of them once, wasn't he? A warden?
Well, he's not now, and busy enough without answering fool questions about it.
Who are you protecting?
You see what our people face in Kirkwall. They have no jobs, no homes. Most can barely buy bread. This healer, he serves them without thought for coin. He's closed their wounds, delivered their children. He's a good man. I won't lose him to the blighted Templars.
You mean he's a mage?
Would I stick my neck out for some purveyor of hensbane and leeches?
We would never turn someone over to the Templars, mistress. Never.
He doesn't want to be locked in the gallows just for using the gifts the Maker gave him.
Your healer is in no danger from me. No maid should suffer for an accident of birth.
I suppose it isn't my secret to keep. Anders has certainly been free enough with his services. Refugees in Darktown know, to find the healer, look for the lit lantern. If you have need enough, Anders will be within.
I got 5 kids to feed. Where do I find work?
Hey, we heard you in there asking about the healer. We know what happens to mages in this town, and it ain't gonna happen to him.
Look, we're Fereldans just trying to keep out of the Templars' sight, same as you.
Ferelden? But your clothes. I figured you for a Kirkwaller, sorry. Maker bless the rule of our King Alistair.
Okay, now we're going to head over to Gamlen's house where we've been living this past year. He's the uncle who got us set up with the Red Iron mercenaries over the past year in order to get us into Kirkwall. Now, I haven't been able to get a word in edgewise about Carver, Bethany's twin brother who died in the prologue. No matter what, you lose a sibling in that prologue. If you play a warrior or rogue, you lose Carver. If you play a mage, you lose Bethany. So unfortunately, that can't be avoided.
Hard to believe they left me nothing.
Well, Mother was pretty steamed when you ran off with your Ferelden apostate.
I'm still their daughter, their eldest. My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
You mean this is real? No wonder I can't wake up.
And here I thought that Ferelden you ran off with was a mage, not a jester. Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Launcey, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
I know the Amels were nobility, Mother, but not much else. Why don't you ever talk about them?
The Amels have been a noble family in Kirkwall since Garahel drove out the Fourth Blight. But we've always carried magic in our blood. It's been a stain on our lineage. No family of good standing would ever marry into a line with magic. When I chose your father, I was bringing more magic into our line, not less. I think that's what hurt my parents the most.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in Pinafores, girl. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Sounds like a yes to me.
That touched a nerve. What's in there that you don't want us to see?
Nothing. But you won't be seeing the bloody thing. It's still locked up on the estate, and that's long out of my hands.
You didn't take your parents' will?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Who bought the estate, Gamlen? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
So, I hate thinking badly of family. But did Uncle Gamlen seem a little slippery when he talked about Grandfather's will? If he, say, invested money that was meant to be Mother's, do you think he would tell us?
Gamlen can't say good morning without lying twice.
Mother's been in such a fit of melancholy since Gamlen told her how angry her parents were about Father. She told me she wishes she'd died with Carver. It's like coming here ruined every good memory of her childhood. I wish we could get some of it back.
When this Deep Roads expedition comes through, we can buy her home back. Move to Hightown.
Gamlen told me he gave the estate as payment to some slaver who beat him at dice. Apparently, our ancestral home is now a base for slavers from all over Thedas.
How could Gamlen let that happen?
I think there's a reason Mother didn't talk about him much. Seriously, though, those scum have no right to our family's things. We should break in there. Get the will for Mother. I already talked to both of them about this. Gamlen said they guard the front entrance well. But Mother gave me her old key. She said it should unlock the cellar. Apparently the sewers run right beneath the house. I always wanted to bring you children back to meet your grandparents. Now, I wish we'd stayed in Ferelden.
The house won't clean itself, Uncle. I think this is the same cheese that was here a year ago. Looks Looks like the dog's trying to tunnel his way out of this hovel. Can't blame him. I can't have Mother living in this hole. We've got to get out of here.
He wasn't like this in Lothering. I think he misses the open fields.
City life not agreeing with you?
Poor thing. Maybe he'd be happier if we brought him with us more often.
He's part of the family. I wouldn't want to lose him.
Take it. I'm sick of what's-his-name staring and panting.
Gamlen, honestly, a Mabari understands what you say. Try using his name.
What's wrong with dog? Real easy to remember.
Okay, this is how you actually get to name your Mabari. I don't think I need to explain why I chose Dusty.
Get out of my face! Your mother's bad enough. I don't need you nagging me.
I really kind of wanted to name the dog Daisy since I'm playing Zoe, and that was Crystal's other dog. But he's constantly referred to as a he, and also Varric, he, as a nickname, he calls one of the other companions Daisy, so I thought that would be confusing. At any rate, this is our home base. You notice there was a special deliveries chest, very similar to like in Kingdoms of Amalur or other games, just DLC bonus equipment. Some of it is just, you know, just something to get you started, but some of it actually stays with you. And I dump the stuff I'm not using in storage. You also have a storage bank here. And then here, if you want to go back and read these, so you don't have to, you know, listen to me talk and try to read at the same time. This is just a correspondence bench where you get letters. And like these three, these are quests. I'll try to like give you a little time to read them, but especially in Act 2, sometimes you just have like 10 letters waiting and it just would take too much time. So I'll try to remind you, you know, here we are, we're doing this quest and this is what we need to do. You know, I'll try to voice over to keep you up to date on what we're doing and why. As for this next trip, it's the Black Emporium. Really great shop with amazing items and some awesome voiceover, so I'll just sit back and let you listen to this.
Customer. Thaddeus, stand straight. Places, everyone. Welcome to the Black Emporium. Don't manhandle the urchin. He's not for sale. Find your own. That's Gollum's name. He's Thaddeus Gigantus Crumbum III. He's my favorite. Please, don't fondle and trust, eh? Few people are worthy of an invitation, you know. They search the sewers for the Emporium and accost poor urchin. And I pursuers! Except Urchin never speaks. I'm tired of those plebeian items. Take what you like. No charge. No charge, Thaddeus. You hear me? All manner of crafting lore gathered from throughout Veda. Price is negotiable.
Okay, this shop stand is one of two here, and this one sells the potions, and this particular one I'm buying is called a Maker's Sigh, and it's the respec potion. You just, whichever character you want to respec, you have them drink it, and then their attributes, talents, and tactics are all reset. There's a few recipes and a rune.
Those rare, enchanted goods are the prizes of my collection. As to socks, you can never have enough socks. Do not stare too intently at that. On second thought, please do.
And like I said in the first episode, this is the mirror where you're able to change your appearance, and I was able to get the exact color match with the hair and the eyebrows. You can do a lot more than that, but that's all I wanted to adjust. I was pretty happy with the rest. Okay, and I don't know if you've noticed, but for a while we've been running around with the level up arrow flashing, and I haven't done it. I wanted to just wait until we drank the Maker's Sighs and, you know, got it all done. I knew we didn't need to fight or anything, so I could just wait till this point. So we just drink everybody's potion. They're all reset, and then I've got some in-game voiceover to explain what I'm doing. Okay, a little in-game voiceover here. I'm going to try to keep this to a minimum because I, you know, never have enough control over levels when I do this, so I don't want to have to, you know, reload and re-record if it doesn't work out. But there are certain things like right here where I really need to be talking while I'm doing it. So we just drank our respec potion, the Maker's Sigh, so that we can reallocate everybody's attributes and talents or spell points. And the first thing to note is that when you do this, because your attributes get reset, your character isn't meeting minimum requirements to wear certain armor, so they're left in their underwear. And in the case of a sexy femme Hawke like Zoe here, it's sort of a bonus to this process. So second, because of that, I'm going to go ahead and check my requirements for this Blood Dragon armor set. I notice it's 19 strength, 13 con, I believe, for all of it. So I really just need to get to, well, those are 18, 13. Let's see, 18. I guess just the chest is 19 strength, 13 con. So that's the first step in the respec, is making sure that, you know, you have your minimums met. As for Zoe and Act 1, most of the game, in fact, primary stat is the way to go. So I'm really just doing minimums on the other stuff. Now as for the build, I'm going to assume that I cover a lot of this in the intro, but it's nice to have this low-level portion of the build, because you can see, for example, over here in red, certain requirements, like level 6, and you need to have control and might, and you also need to have already spent 2 points in the Vanguard tree. So she can't get this yet, even if she takes might and control, because she's not level 6, etc. And the thing I want to kind of show you why it's important to see prerequisites is it cues you in to sort of the timing of the build and when you want certain things to happen. For example, let's say I wanted to use Spirit Strike. I'm not going to build her this way, but just as way of an example, notice the regular spell just does spirit damage. You saw it in the prologue, she used it. But if you upgrade it, it does increased damage and force to disoriented targets. But look at the prerequisites. She has to be level 6, and she has to have spent 2 points in this tree. So now moving on to Varric, let's say you want him to set up the disorient status effect with his bow, Bianca. So he can do that with this disoriented shot, but it requires pinning shot, the main talent, and he also needs to have spent 3 points in this tree, the Bianca tree. So even if she could get that, which was, I think, was it level 6? Yeah. We wouldn't have anything available to set it up with. You see what I'm saying? So you have to kind of time when you take and your companions take certain abilities. The only other way he could set it up is with overpowering fog, sets up disorient, but that's not till level 13, or chaos, which isn't till level 9. So in fact, the soonest you can have disorient in your party, unless you're a rogue, is level 8. So we'll be working toward that. And when you build like that, you kind of keep in mind, okay, I don't need to have this right at level 6. I could get it at 6 or 7 or 8. But that way you'll have the detonator available right when the setup skill on the rogue is made available. And you know, you can put it off, and sometimes you have to do that, but this is, like I've said all along, part of the puzzle of how do you build your party. And it's the same with, like, you know, say she wants this to set up brittle, so she can set up brittle at level 6 if she gets these things going. But let's say I were, you know, or we could use Varric as the detonator this time. Let's say you wanted to do Punishing Lance. See, it does bonus physical damage to brittle targets. Well, he doesn't get that till 11. He has something up here, Shattering Arrow, which does bonus to brittle, but that's not available till 9. So you could maybe put off the setup skill on Bethany until later. So this is why you need the spreadsheets to kind of line up when things get taken, so that cross-class combos, you know, can come into their own, preferably as soon as possible. As for Hawke, again, I hope I will have explained this. The Ultimate Vanguard, these are kind of the priority. This is the best damage boost in the game for a warrior. This is great because it cuts through damage resistance, and this is awesome because against normal and lieutenant level enemies, when you get him to a certain health, he can just she can just hit them and they're dead. That's what the word death blow means. So that's sort of the priority among other things, but getting those as soon as possible is what we want. So for that reason, we'll go ahead and take these two prerequisites and get them out of the way. Not to mention I run might all the time because it just is a sustainable that increases damage. The other parts of her build are going to be a lot of this for much of the game. It's because we're building her as a weapon and shield warrior. So we'll go ahead and take shield bash, shield defense, and perception. I never use this because it reduces damage, outgoing as well as incoming, obviously, and increases threat, which is kind of broken in this game. But it's a prerequisite for this, which is an amazing skill, right? Immune to flanking. It means you can still get hit from behind, but it's not going to be, you're not going to take the bonus flanking damage that the game ordinarily would include. Shield bash you've already seen some of. It's an amazing skill, knocks him down. It's an arc, so she can, you know, clear through a pile. And it also sets up this and this for later. So, like I said, just these three. So that's it for now, for her. As for Varric, we got to get him to 20 cunning. And then when we start, I think Act 2, we'll get him to 30 cunning. The reason you do that is you need a certain amount of cunning to unlock lock chests and to disarm traps. And the highest ones we'll encounter in Act 1 actually I think require 27 cunning, but he's going to use a ring that boosts that ability even more, so you just put it at 20 now and then 30 later. I think 27 technically is what you need to get everything in the game as long as you have that ring on, and then I maybe boost it up. It's also a very nice attribute. It's considered secondary for everybody, even rogues, but it increases your critical damage and it increases your defense down here, which is just a flat chance to avoid a basic attack. So with that out of the way, we just jack up his dexterity. I think I could technically do 19. Let's do that. We'll do 19 because another ring I'm going to put on gives him cunning. So that'll get him to 20 with the ring. Okay. And then for him, again, I already kind of mentioned we're building toward disorienting shot. And then along the way, we're going to start leading up to this, which is one of the best skills in the game, overpowering fog. So he's going to be the guy who sets up disorients as well as range DPS and a little bit of crowd control with this shot. This ends up being a key ability in my workaround with regard to the nearest visible rogue tactic not working. So we take pinning and bursting, and evade isn't that great, but this is an amazing skill. It you target a party member, and it's like a smoke cloud, right? And it makes them obscure for 10 seconds. And when you're obscure, you I think you have a 50% chance not to get hit. So it's really a great thing. And then for his last point, again, we're building up to here. And this is a rough tree on Nightmare because almost all of it is area effect, or things like charge are useless, but you need the prerequisites. So some wasted points in here, but it's all worth it getting to this by level 13 or not too long after that. Bethany is easy, all magic. And Bethany's going to be our kind of support mage. So she's going to run Heroic Aura, which gives us like a buff. It's a sustainable, but it buffs the party. She's going to heal, and this is nice CC. Puts a glyph on the ground. If enemies run into it, they're paralyzed. And then once she gets to level 7, she'll be our haster. So she's very much just, you know, buff, heal, CC, support. And she'll be throwing in some more damage along the way. But for now, I think for Act 1, I just have her doing this tree and this tree, keeping it really simple. Mind Blast is terrible, but you need it to get Barrier, which again will help with support. You know, it's not a heal, but it puts a bubble on you. It's a pretty short duration, only 6 seconds, but it helps whoever's taking a lot of damage not take so much and lets them recover. It gives them time to get healed, you know, take a health potion, stuff like that. So very much a good support type of ability for her to have. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we move into inventory. She's going to use the awesome Special Deliveries chest staff, great magic staff, or fire staff, excuse me. And then as for jewelry, she's going to use this nice boost to attack and then bonus to fire and cold damage. Let's see, I believe I have her on this for the immunity to flanking so that she doesn't get flanked and killed real easily. And then ring wise, let's see, what do I do? I think I need that. Let's see. No, that's for him. Let me just do Varric really quick because I know exactly what I want. There's that bonus to cunning I said we'd be getting. And the Stolen Shadows, see here, it's the bonus to disarm traps and lockpicking. That pretty much just stays on him the whole game. There are other items that also grant one or both of those, but it's a nice thing to have right from the jump, so we put it on him right away. Pennant-wise, I believe he uses either that or this. This because he does physical damage, and I like the enemies drop better equipment. And then we'll do High Lords, drops more coin. So he's going to have drops more coin here and here, and then eventually we're going to put a rune that also grants that buff. So he's, you know, he's Varric, he's our rogue. He's like really sapping the game world for more coin. That's awesome. And then now we can equip the Blood Dragon set. And this set doesn't actually look like this out of the box. I'm using a mod that makes it look like Knight Commander Meredith's gear. Just because the way it normally looks is really stupid. I can't stand it. So this is just a mod that's replacing the morph, the graphic, with Knight Commander Meredith's graphic. Weapon-wise, Fade Shear, and the Line of Orlais. So she's looking much better. And then her jewelry, I believe I used this. What was this? Health, yeah. Attack and physical damage all day. Probably defense armor and immune to knockback is probably what we want. This isn't bad for the damage resistance and the health. Maybe that's a better choice. Sure. Belt-wise, probably the trophy belt, or... yeah, I'll do that for now. We're going to buy a different belt. Okay, that leaves defense armor, immune to knockback, And willpower and health will be fine for her. Okay, so that's that. The other thing when you respec is all your bars get reset and your tactics get reset. So let's get this cleaned up. And keep in mind, I played a rogue the very first time through this recent set of playthroughs. So I kind of have some key bindings that I like. And, you know, here and there you do have to switch on to other characters, and it's nice to just have things where you're used to having them. And also I do have to lead with Varric quite a bit for grabbing traps at the start of a fight, stuff like that. And it's nice to just have the buttons where I'm used to having them in case I need to, you know, shuck and jive with him. And like I said, you also have your tactics reset. So real quickly, we'll have to redo these. And another reason I want to do in-game voiceover for this, because some of them need to be explained a little bit, you know. They're not conventional. This stuff is fine. And again, Hawke, I don't really freak out about his or her tactics too much. And these are basic things, you know. If they're attacking the mage or the rogue, go shield bash them. And go ahead and throw a nearest visible mage in there, just in case one of those pops up and I'm not on. Hawke. Okay, that's very simple for her. Now Varric is really, in a lot of ways, the heart and soul of the group. And it's very rare that I won't take him. I think there's just a couple times where I use another NPC rogue. I always have a rogue. And just a few times it's not Varric. So, first off, any ally's health below 50% will get Chameleon's Breath. Again, that's the smoke cloud that obscures them. And if you're lucky, you'll catch more than one ally with it, because it is like a radius effect. After that comes my workaround for nearest visible rogue. So what you have to do, it's real estate wise, it's expensive because it takes up 2 tactic slots. And when you're this low and you have so few, it's really harsh. And then even by the end of the game, it's harsh because you have so many other abilities you want to pack a tactic for, you know. But this, I've found on multiple playthroughs, really does the trick. So what you do is you set up enemy attacking, you know, your mage, mage 1, mage 2, or Varric, and then you use this guy, use current condition for the next tactic. So it's really a 2-part tactic. So any enemy attacking Bethany, and then you say using a melee attack, then you do the ability. You fire pinning shot. You see that, how that will work? It's an enemy who is attacking Bethany and using a melee attack will get the pinning shot. Nothing else does. If they're using ranged or magic, it doesn't go off. If they're not attacking Bethany, it doesn't go off. And what this will do is it'll root them. And then later on, remember in the abilities when I was showing you the trees, when we get up to level 8, I think it was, disorienting shot, this morphs into not just a shot that roots the enemy, but that disorients them. So any enemy using melee that goes after Bethany, once we're level 8 and he has this skill upgraded, we'll not only get rooted, they'll get disoriented. And then when Bethany has like a tactic that says enemy status disoriented, blow it up with some detonator ability, it's gonna take a lot of damage. So the downside, two downsides. One, it takes 2 slots, like I already mentioned. 2, it could be any, melee attacker, not the really dangerous rogue that we want to take out. Some warrior coming after her, or like a dog that's in the mix, an enemy dog or something like this using melee. So it's not perfect, but you really need something. And more often than not, this does the trick. So we'll just repeat it for Varric. There we go. And then with his last slot, he'll just assist Hawke. Attack, okay? As I fill out the party, there are some other sort of 2-part tactics like that complement Varric's. And I do end up throwing in a lot of redundancy on that bit, with regard to things attacking my mages and my rogue. You know what I mean? Because I'm the warrior. Zoe's the warrior. She can keep herself alive. She's tough. But when things go after your mages and your rogue, they're not so tough. And when they die, the party wipes. It's just that simple. Zoe needs them to win, and they need to protect each other in order to stay alive. So that's the deal. That's really the key to Nightmare, is keeping your companions alive. So now we're doing Bethany. So she's the healer. So we're gonna do ally health. Now without upgraded heal, it only, I think, heals 40% of the bar. So might as well just throw it out sooner than later. Now when I upgrade it and it starts to heal 80% of the bar, I'll lower this threshold to 25%, because you don't want to waste all of that heal. You want that heal to count for a lot of the bar, not just be extra heal that isn't used. And then meanwhile, we'll go ahead and, at a higher threshold, throw up the bubble, the barrier. And now, what we'll do is Self, being attacked by melee, use the Glyph of Paralysis. And then we'll do it for Varric. So again, here is another example of redundancy. If Varric's pinning shot is on cooldown, it's not available, and there's melee attackers coming after Bethany or Varric, this is like a redundancy to stop them. This will paralyze them. And then last, we'll just assist Hawke for attack. So notice with these tactics, I know it's early and we don't have a lot of skills, and it's pretty simple setup, but other than her heal and barrier, right, that's just support and healing, right? All she's really doing, she won't ever use these unless she or Varric are being attacked by melee, okay? As with Varric, same thing. Like, maybe I'm wasting DPS and crowd control by never using these except under these conditions. But you know what? Most of the DPS comes from just auto-attacking. And, the tactics are designed for when things go after your support. So that's pretty much it. Otherwise, they're just assisting Hawke, and we're going to like auto-attack stuff, Now later it'll get more complicated once we get more abilities and we're setting up combos and detonating them, etc. But this is kind of the heart and soul of the way nightmare runs need to go. You need to have most of your damage being done by auto attack. You all need to be assisting on the same target. And then otherwise, everything's a bailout. It's root this going after your mage, or stun this, or paralyze this, or knock this down, or you see what I mean? So that's really what I've found works best. Okay, so sorry for the lengthy in-game voiceover, but I felt I really needed to stop and explain all that, because if I just sort of did it and then left it for editing time, voiceover, I don't think I'd be able to fit everything I wanted to say in there. Okay, back to adventure. Okay, we're back to Hightown now.
You want daggers? Got them too.
We're going to make our way up to the Viscount's Keep, where the barracks are, to meet Aveline. During the year that Zoe and Bethany were working for the Red Iron Mercenaries, Aveline managed to get herself a position with the city guard. And the barracks, which is her home base, is located in the Viscount's Keep. But real quick, one stop before we head that way, we're going to see about slotting some runes.
Bodan Feddick, purveyor of goods both common and rare, at your service. And this is my son, Sandal, who is as brilliant an enchanter as you'll ever find. Say hello to the nice human, Sandal.
Hello.
We shall be accompanying your expedition and providing the needed supplies. It's all quite exciting, isn't it?
The thought of adventure does make me giddy.
A kindred soul, surely. But I digress. Do you wish to peruse my wares, or perhaps make use of Sandal's unique talents?
Enchantment?
Just so.
I thought all enchanters were mages.
Not at all. The fabled dwarven resistance to magic has allowed enchantment of crafts for countless ages. Granted, most dwarven smiths must work for many, many years to learn the skill, but my boy is a natural, a savant beyond compare.
I like enchantment.
And he enjoys his work. What more could one ask?
You two don't seem the sort to hire onto this sort of expedition.
My son and I have never played it safe. Never kept to the tried and true roads. In fact, we have just returned from adventures while accompanying the hero of Ferelden, legendary Grey Warden and vanquisher of the Blight.
So you helped to defeat the Blight?
In our small way, perhaps. We did not fight at the Grey Warden's side, of course. Pity how the hero met her end. For such a woman to die as she slew the great archdemon. A tragic, if heroic, tale. But surely my past is hardly of interest to the likes of you.
Let's see what your son can do.
Enchantment!
Okay, so here's the enchanting apparatus. It's pretty simple. You just drag and drop your runes into the desired item slots. I'm doing fire in the fire staff, armor in the shield, pretty basic stuff. I bought this one at the Black Emporium. It's the Rune of Fortune. It helps increase gold drops. The other three I got from the special deliveries chest. You also probably remember Bodan and Sandal, the two little dwarves. They accompanied the hero of Ferelden in Dragon Age Origins, so they're making a return appearance. And you also probably heard he mentioned, you know, that the hero sacrificed herself to destroy the archdemon. And that was taken from that pre-built history that I selected, the Martyr. So that's pretty cool that they, you know, Like I said, along the way they'll make comments based on which history you chose.
You can't miss the keep. It practically screams nothing fun ever happens here.
Alright, so we've made our way to the Viscount's Keep. Like I said, the barracks is also here, and that's where Aveline hangs out. Initially, I'm just running around on Varric. I'm scavenging for lore. There's a locked chest in here for bonus XP. Right here, I pick up a lost item. There are several of these throughout the game. You just pick them up, you turn them to their owner, you get bonus XP, etc. Now I noticed we are over an hour, but in looking back at this episode, I realized there are no fights so far. You know, it's just all running around, dialogue, let's do the respec.
I have 14 different reports to rewrite by the end of the day. Please, I need some quiet.
So I'm going to extend the episode because I didn't want to leave you empty-handed. And we haven't finished up that birthright quest, you know, where we want to go infiltrate our family's estate, you know, that Gamlin lost to settle a debt. And we're looking for our grandfather's will. So we'll talk to Aveline, get her in the party, and then head over and do that.
Aveline! Hello, Hawke.
Been a while, hasn't it?
What? Oh, right. Sorry. It feels like we just talked. I've been keeping an eye on you. Information is one of the few perks of this job. Watch out for Bartrand. He's a son of a bitch.
You know I don't like it when you have people watch me.
Saved me camping on your doorstep. After what we went through to get here, well, you're no child, but I take care of my friends. The places they have me patrolling, I've got time.
Still having trouble? I thought you were past all that.
Lately, I don't know. I've been pushed out to some dead patrols. Maybe I stepped on someone's toes.
You can be forceful.
My charm, right? I should be able to go where I'm needed. In fact, I might have a job for you. Let me know if you want to do a favor for Kirkwall. Otherwise, I'm here if you need me. Maker knows I could use more satisfying work.
The Blight is over. You could go back to Lothering.
That wasn't home for me. It was just where the Horde pressed us. It wasn't the first village I saw fall. But you don't get used to people losing everything.
It's not how I wanted to say goodbye. I'll say that.
You can't go home again. That's supposed to be about maturity. It's not the same if you don't have the option.
Seems like Kirkwall suits you.
It has been a challenge. Lots of opportunity, if you're the type the locals want.
Are you?
If you argue enough, you kind of convince yourself.
It's been a year settling in. Are you all right?
You don't need to coddle me. I am where I am. How close I hold my memories is my own business.
This must be a very different pace from serving King Cailan.
I love that life. But there's a new king for a new Ferelden. Seems cocksure, but I guess he was there when the Archdemon fell. Can't fault an active hand. It's just one more change, though. The real end for me was Ostagar. You and Carver must have felt something similar. I don't know if that's right to say. I barely knew him.
Death on that scale certainly has a finality to it.
Sometimes I wonder.
All right, Aveline. You have something worth doing?
My patrols may be empty walks in the dark, but there's something big coming up, and I could use you. An ambush, probably for a caravan, although I can't find any shipments that match up. Doesn't matter, though. Highwaymen waiting for someone to rob.
I'm putting a stop to it, my district or not.
I'm no guard, Evelyn.
There's only so many of us. Temporary recruits are expected time to time, as long as they're competent. You still claim to be competent, right?
Do you have a name or anything else to go on?
Not important. If we show up and they attack, they're bad. Simple as that. I'll wager it's smugglers, though. Like I said, seems like an obvious trap for a caravan.
You've been nosing around outside your commission.
I have contacts, and they're complaining about a lack of meat. Thugs and such. Someone is hiring. And 1 or 2 were told to prepare for travelers. You want to be good at this job? You pay attention to what's missing, and when people arrange escape routes.
Seems like you'd want to share this with your fellow guards.
I will, if you sit on your hands. I'll send my alerts, and someone else will lead a patrol. But there's profit and influence to be had. You're my friend, so I'm offering.
Aveline, you've got yourself a partner.
I knew I could count on you. They're hidden up Sundermount, remote and rough, but we can make good time with a shortcut this side. And no, you can't run off and do it without me. I trust you, but I have to be there. You're acting on behalf of the Guard.
Messiah, please stop kicking the wall.
The Viscount must be terribly busy.
Okay, so we've got Aveline back in the party. You may have noticed when I zoned out of Gamlen's house and it gave me the party selection screen that she was there, but she was grayed out. You have to actually go and meet her in this act and talk to her before you can have her join the party. As for her build, I'm not using the 4th Maker's Psi potion on her because I don't really use her that much in Act 1, and you know, we're pressed for gold, so I bought that 4th one for another companion, Anders, the Grey Warden mage that we're going to talk to. He's going to kind of be the, you know, the steady 4th in our party, so that's who that's for. So as for her build and her equipment, just kind of whatever I have. She's a shield warrior like Zoe, so it's really redundant. I've used her a lot in a lot of my playthroughs. She's not a bad shield warrior. It's just that tanking is never done well as a companion. You know, it's so much more effective when the player character actually does the tanking. It's just really hard and ineffective to set up tactics to do everything you need to do as a tank. That said, her special tree, which I'll get into later, has some pretty nice defensive stats, so she can kind of take a beating. At any rate, she's just going to be kind of here to auto-attack with us and fill out the party, be another meat shield, whatnot. So, just getting some basic stuff set up from what we had. No respec, just some garbage gear on her so she can be semi-competent. And then we're going to head off to Darktown, and that's where Anders is. We need to talk to him, see if he can give us the Grey Warden maps to help with the expedition. And then the Birthright quest is right by where he is, and we'll do that.
Where else can we go? Nowhere, that's where.
Tom Wise?
Huh? Oh, Hawke. Haven't seen you since Mirren hired me for that Red Iron job. Been a while. Heard you're going on some expedition into the Deep Roads. And right into Darkspawn territory. Sure that's wise?
We can't all make a living in the Undercity.
Just watch your back. That's all I'm saying. Say, you still in the market for some poisons? The Red Iron's been scarce, and business has been a little slow. You find any rare reagents and want me to whip you up something, just let me know. In fact, since you're an old friend, here's a recipe. My speciality. Everyone needs an edge sometimes, right?
Okay, just like the rune ordering station and the potion ordering station.
Take what I like. That's what I say.
That is the poison and grenade ordering station. And now that we've unlocked it, just like the other two, it'll be available in Gamlen's house, so we can order from there.
On your guard! I'll cut you open! You're gonna get it!
Okay, a really successful little skirmish there with some random coterie thugs. That there is a crafting ingredient. That's the first one we've actually found in the world. So it is now available in our supply of ingredients. And as for that little skirmish, you know, ordinarily I wouldn't make such a big deal. It was pretty unexciting, uneventful. But notice we all attacked the same target and they died really quickly.
The refugees live here. It's almost enough to make me grateful for Uncle Gamlen.
So no special abilities, nothing firing off, just auto attack, all on the same target. That right there is really the heart and soul of Nightmare. Yeah, there are cross-class combos and, you know, other things that will go off and get really crazy, but just that little fight was so good, and that's what we need to happen the whole way.
This place a sanctum of healing and salvation. Why do you threaten it?
I'm just here to talk.
We're interested in getting into the deep roads. Rumor has it you were a warden. Do you know a way?
Did the warden send you to bring me back? I'm not going. Those bastards made me get rid of my cat. Poor Sir Pouncelot. He hated the deep roads.
You had a cat named Sir Pouncelot? In the deep roads?
He was a gift. A noble beast. Almost got ripped in half by a Genlock once. He swatted the bugger on the nose. Drew blood, too. The blighted warden said he made me too soft. I had to give him to a friend in Amaranthine.
So you came to Kirkwall just to escape the wardens?
You say that like it's a small thing. Yes. I'm here because there's no warden outpost, no darkspawn, and a whole host of refugees to blend in with. And some reasons of my own.
I've always heard that joining the wardens is for life.
That's only partly true. The hopelessly tainted by the darkspawn and plagued by nightmares about the archdemon parts don't go away. But it turns out if you hide well, you don't have to wear the uniform or go to the parties.
I'm part of an expedition into the deep roads. Any information you have could save people's lives.
I will die a happy man if I never think about the blighted deep roads again. You can't imagine what I've come through to get here. I'm not interested. Although, a favor for a favor. Does that sound like a fair deal? You help me, I'll help you.
Let's be more specific. I don't do anything involving children or animals.
I have a warden map of the depths in this area, but there's a price. I came to Kirkwall to aid a friend, a mage, a prisoner in the wretched gallows. The Templars learned of my plans to free him. Help me bring him safely past them, and you shall have your maps.
Tell me about your friend.
His name is Carl Thekla. He was sent here from Ferelden when Kirkwall Circle required new talent. His last letter said the Knight Commander was turning the Circle into a prison. Mages are locked in their cells, refused appearances at court, made tranquil for the slightest crimes. I told him I would come.
Are these accusations true?
Ask any mage in Kirkwall. Over a dozen were made tranquil just this year. The more people you ask, the worse the rumors become.
What do the Templars know of your plans?
I don't know. I had been exchanging notes with Carl through a maidservant in the gallows. Then the letters stopped coming.
You want to make your friend an apostate?
That's such a weighted term. Yes, Andraste said magic should serve man, not rule him. But I've yet to find a mage who wants to rule anything. It goes against no will of the Maker for mages to live as free as other men.
Forcing mages into servitude is not the way to prevent the rise of another Imperium.
That's not usually the response I get. Perhaps we will work together better than I expected.
How do you plan to break him out of the gallows?
I'm hoping it won't come to that. I sent Carl a message to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Maker willing, he'll be there, alone. But if there are Templars with him, I swear I'll free him from them, whatever the cost.
You've convinced me. What's your plan?
I welcome your aid. I have already sent word for Carl to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Join us there, and we'll ensure that no matter who is with him, we all walk away free.
I think this is the cellar door. Let's go in and see why Gamlin lied.
Okay, right away there you saw one of them go after Bethany or Varric, and Varric immediately rooted it, and then they both just moved away. So that tactic working flawlessly already. And that was our first encounter with a nasty enemy rogue. Notice it did a backflip, disappeared, and then came back and did a backstab on Aveline and took about half her life. Yeah, those are the worst enemies in the game.
The Amel crest. Mother described it, but this is the first time I've seen it. Wouldn't it feel like something to live in a house with this above the door?
Watch where you step.
Last one to strike buys the drinks. This one will fetch
Take you! Now you fall!
Okay, I had to lead with Varric there to get the trap, and I have to do that quite a bit.
Here we go! Let's finish this!
Training for the next.
And again, there one went after the back line, and Varric rooted it, and Bethany cast her glyph of paralysis, which he walked into, and it was just stuck there in a green haze. So tactics are firing really well so far.
Everyone stay still and try not to make anyone notice us.
I knew I should have slit his throat.
Let's finish this!
All right, another great fight. Everything working well there. So I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you're okay with the extended episode to get a little bit, more combat and some quests done. We're going to head in here, and then it's going to be dialogue the rest of the way, but I won't be able to talk again, so I'll just sign it off here. See you next time for more Dragon Age 2.
That's the vault. Everything we want to know about our family is inside. Done. This is it. Grandfather's will. Mother needs to see this as soon as possible.
We'll take it to her right now.
So I'm just saying, blood's blood and all, but you are taking advantage of my hospitality. It's only fair if you make something of a monthly contribution.
You sold my children into servitude. Now you're asking me to pay rent?
Maybe just put something towards food.
We found the will.
He forgave you, Mother. Grandfather left you everything. Here, read it.
I should maybe...
To my daughter Leandra, and all children born of her, the estate in Hightown and all associated revenues.
Check out the part where Gamlen is left only a stipend, to be controlled by you.
Gamlen, how could you?
You're the one who ran away, Leandra. What happened to love is so much more important than money.
It is!
You didn't even come home for the funeral.
The twins were a week old.
We all have our burdens. Mine was looking after a life you abandoned. How long was I supposed to wait?
I doubt you let the ashes get cold.
I took care of Father. I stayed. And on his deathbed, all he could talk about was Leandra. Look, sister, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. And there's nothing I can do to get it back.
I don't expect that, Gamlen. It's enough to know Mother and Father didn't die angry. I'll petition the Viscount for rights to reclaim the estate. Make her willing, you'll have your house back within weeks.
You don't have the coin or standing to even get an audience with the Viscount. You've got to be someone in this city to live in that house again.
Then I had better get started.
So, what? Are you here to gloat? Gamlen's the idiot again. Gamlen's the fool who can't hold his money when it's given in a bloody silver basket. I tried, when Leandra left. But no one was ever going to live up to her.
What was she like, as a girl?
We're only a year apart. But that was time enough for Leandra to get our parents wrapped firmly around her little finger. They showed her off at every opportunity. The beauty, the scholar, the light of their lives. As far as they were concerned, they should have stopped there.
I've seen the nobles in this town. Your parents must have had a fortune. Where did it all go?
Well, it's not like I stood at the side of the wharf and hurled it over. I tried to invest it. I got some good tips on trade in Kunari cheeses. And, you know, a man's got needs. I'm not denying I spent more on myself than I should have, but I figured it'd all work out.
So, the best way to make Daddy love you was to steal his money?
I changed their filthy sheets and wiped their chins through 2 bouts of the cholera, and the last word Father said was... Leandra. I'm not looking for love, but at least I got the money.
And here I was, just about to like you. Why don't you go pick up something at the market? You could use some air.
What? Hey!
I can't believe Gamlin stole Mother's entire inheritance. I mean, I can believe it. That's the worst part. I could never turn against my own sister like that.
You're a better person than Gamlin could ever be.
Well, hopefully we'll be out of here soon. You know, when we went to look for that will, I thought we were doing it for Mother, for what she lost. I didn't realize how much it would mean to me. To know I had grandparents who didn't hate me.
I wish they had lived long enough to see us come home.
Home. That's what it is, isn't it? I liked saying that. We're not running away again. We're coming home.
What do you mean, running away again?
Did you think I don't know? How often we had to move because the Templars were coming. I know how much you all sacrificed to protect me. But we're at the end of the line now. There's nowhere left to run. And there's something almost comforting in that.
Why did Mother and Father work so hard to keep you from the Circle? Would it have been so bad?
I guess at first, I was just a little girl. They didn't want to lose me. And once I had learned anything, what would the Templars do to an active apostate, not just a Mageblood child? It changed their lives, your life, Carver's, all because of who I am. Sometimes I wonder if it would have been so bad to be with my own kind, to serve the Chantry as Andraste demands.
Are you unhappy here?
I wish I could do more for Mother. Carver's death, it's killing her slowly every day. But maybe if we can reclaim some of what she lost, it will help. I'd do anything to get us back a normal life.
What do you think Carver would have made of all this?
He would have hated this place. All the sneering nobles. He'd have gotten himself arrested the first day. And he would have wanted in on your Deep Roads expedition. Anything to make a name for himself. Sometimes I still can't believe he's gone.
Can you imagine if we'd grown up here? Been nobility?
Had grandparents who bought us Orlesian silk dresses with lace petticoats. Father was a good man, but Mother gave up so much for him. Of course, if she hadn't worked up the nerve to elope, she probably wouldn't have been able to resist the Templars either. If we'd been born here, you'd be nothing more to me than a name the Circle kept in my file.
We're going to make this our home, Bethany. I promise you.
I hope so, sister. I'm so very tired of running.
When I told your grandmother I was marrying your father, she threatened to disown me. She said my children would be mongrels. My father wanted to lock me in, but she told him it's her life, let her ruin it. I wrote to her when each of you were born. She never wrote back. I'm glad she didn't die hating me.
The estate is yours. Why are we still here?
Technically, the house is now property of the Viscount, since its owner died without an heir. If we went there now, we would just be squatters. But if the Viscount acknowledges our rights, we can get back more than the house. We can get back our name.
Grandmother didn't want you to leave. She tried holding on to you the only way she knew.
She would have been so proud of you. You're everything she wanted in an Amel grandchild. She might have had a hard time accepting it at first, but she would have loved you, all three of you. Carver. He was such a little boy. Never had a knee that wasn't scraped or trousers without holes.
He was so young. Never got to be the man he wanted.
I just keep thinking there's something we could have done. It's killing me. I remember that awful creature reaching down and 18 years of loving and feeding and raising and... that was it.
Blame the Darkspawn, not yourself.
The ogre would have been happy with any prey. It was my fault it was Carver. I miss him. There were 4 of us when the Blight began. It will never be over while there are just 3. I've written to the Viscount. I've an audience for after Bartrand's expedition leaves. I couldn't do anything for Carver, but with luck, I could at least give us a home.
I found this when we were at the estate. I thought you should have it.
Is it? I think this is Mother's betrothal portrait from when she was supposed to marry the Comte. Look! You can see the ring.
You like it?
I love it. My whole life, Mother's always been so sad and worried. All because of my cursed magic. I always wished there was some way to take that burden off her. It's nice to have a reminder of a time when she still knew how to smile.
I'll let you sleep.